Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, Partners with P Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. And Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com. What a nasty day yesterday, man. My goodness. It stormed all day and night. Nasty day. I guess it's going to bring in the Arctic blast here. All right. We're going to say some good mornings here. I hope your week as we head toward Christmas is going swimmingly. We'll say some good mornings. YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, smash that like button. Facebook, please like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. We appreciate y'all as always. I have there in the description for today's episode about how the rule change potentially impacts LSU. So if you remember on Friday, the NCAA passed a blanket waiver where all college football players could play in the bowl game and not have it affect eligibility. Previously there was a rule passed where you could play in up to 4 games during the course of a season, and it wouldn't, and you could still maintain your redshirt year. So you're looking for players that have played in 4 games that if they play another would have prior used year of eligibility and now would not. There are 3 on LSU's team, really 2, but Quincy Wiggins is the only one that really matters. Derek Davis, who is the safety / running back who entered the transfer portal, and then Chris Hilton played in 4 games before they shut him down and he had shoulder surgery. So I guess presumably if Chris Hilton is back from his injury, which I don't know the answer to that, then he could, I guess, in theory, get out there and play in this game. But I don't know if he's back. They announced that they were shutting him down for the year, so I don't think anyone's asked about Chris Hilton since his injury. So, but worth asking, I guess. But so Quincy Wiggins really is the big one, though. Quincy Wiggins is a guy who Brian Kelly even said, it's been good to see him get out there and run around and practice a bunch. So, and now with this rule, he could play, and I assume we're going to see him play, especially with Ojulari opting out. So, big 93 look for him in the bowl game. Let's say some good mornings. Pels lost last night. Their 4th in a row. Yeah. Noble work battling back in the second half, but came up short against Milwaukee. So, lost 2 to Utah, 1 to Phoenix, and now Milwaukee. I need to get healthy, get on a roll again. All right, let's say some good mornings here. Kelly Gross, good morning. Todd Harris, Robbie Welburn, David Coslin, Paul Losi, good morning. Merry Christmas. Stephen Miller, good morning. Quick question. What's the actual ruling on the players in the portal? And once they commit, when are they actually eligible? So, give me an example. So, like, a player in the portal still has to sign, you can only sign a letter of intent once in your career. So, like, if you are a high school player and you sign your letter of intent, like, you never sign another letter of intent. So you have to enroll. So, for example, if you're talking about Aaron Anderson, for example, if Aaron Anderson, he's committed to LSU, he'll sign on Wednesday. But so Aaron Anderson's the one. You have to be enrolled. So you really only sign 1 letter of intent in your entire career. So he signed a letter of intent with Alabama coming out of high school. He'll never sign another LOI. But he would have to enroll in school, is what the rule would be. If he were enrolled in school, then he could practice. That's what Stingley did. If you remember, Stingley practiced. He was the early enrollee. He finished before the Fiesta Bowl. So he finished high school. He enrolled, I guess, in intercession, and was able to go through bowl practices. But if they would have played him, he would have forfeited that year of eligibility. So what you're asking is, yes. So what you're asking about Anderson is, like, theoretically, since he's already played a game in this season and eligibility wouldn't count for the bowl game, could he play in the bowl game? Is what you're asking, I think. And that's a really good question. My assumption would be, look, he's only played one game, and now hold on, no, because you can't transfer mid-season and participate. So that transfer window closes. So he couldn't play for two teams in the same season. So no, he could go through bowl. If he enrolls, he could go through bowl practice, but he could not play in the bowl game. So when the semester begins in January, unless if he's going through intercession, which I'm assuming is what Stingley did when he enrolled and went through bowl practice. So no, Rudolph is in. Craig Dugard, Rudolph has entered the transfer portal. Potential suitors, the Easter Bunny with an outside shot for the Tooth Fairy. Good. So yes, it's a good question, and he would not be able to play in the bowl game. But if he is enrolled in intercession, then he could go through bowl practices. Robbie Welburn, are we going to see any LSU players play the bowl game that haven't played much? The coaches have their eyes on Walker Howard being one. You see, Robbie, I don't. A lot of people have asked about Walker, and I get it, but I don't understand why. I can't see a scenario where Walker would play, because you're going to go into this game with Daniels, Nussmeier, presumably, right? And so Daniels will start, and Nussmeier would be the backup if Daniels get a big lead or Daniels gets hurt or whatever. So I don't see a path for Walker to play in the game unless if you get down the depth chart. And now here you are, you're less than 2 weeks from the game. I don't think any of the quarterbacks are leaving within the next 2 weeks. I mean, they're already, a week plus into bowl practice. So, yeah, I don't know that I see that happen.
Did you send those gifts?
I did. I texted my dad. He's going to come get them.
Yes,
Yeah, thank you.
His and your mom's in there.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Just making sure he's fine.
Okay. Thanks, babe. So Walker Howard, no. The one, I think I mentioned it a bit ago, the one would be Quincy Wiggins. Because he's at the 4-game threshold. They had made the decision to shut him down and not burn a year of eligibility. Well, now he can play. And what's doubly important about that, of course, is because he's on the defensive line, and you had Ojulari opt out. And Wiggins, in theory, could play the jack. Now, he's more of that big end, that left end that Ali Gay plays. So maybe you see Savion Jones and Xavier Carter play the jack, and Wiggins could back up on the left side. But we also saw Wiggins play on the interior, y'all. If I go back, I need to go back and look at my notes from fall camp. But they were rotating, again, this was early before Mason Smith got hurt, remember. They were rotating a lot of those guys inside and out. But again, that was when Mason Smith was still there and Mekhi Wingo hadn't really emerged. So a lot's changed, obviously, since then. Sheldon Mark Fleming, when does the portal close? On the 20th. No, it's a 45-day period. I think it's the end of January. It's like January 20th or something like that. Or January. So the draft deadline and the portal deadline are 2 days apart. I think the portal closes on January 18th, and the declaration, the early draft declaration, is January 20th. Or maybe I have those flipped. One is January 18th, one is January 20th. Let's see. Brian Wynn, Wendell Norman, Jeff Hawk, what's up, dude? Jason H., Leon Williams, Jesse Post, Lawrence Burley, good morning. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Matt Plavidal, good morning. Finished day 2 of my post office training. It's a lot more involved, and people know from just picking up mail and delivering mail, but we'll learn it in time. I'll still say one of the best deals in the world. One of the best deals in the world is I could pay like 40 cents or whatever a stamp is, 60 cents for a stamp, whatever it is. I could pay 60 cents and you'll come to my house, pick up a letter, and bring it anywhere in the country. That's a pretty good deal. Pretty good deal. Now I know I could just email, but sometimes you want to mail people stuff. Devin Kelly, good morning. Jake Geiger, good morning. Don't go postal. Carl Alexander, I always think, when I hear that, I always think about the Seinfeld skit with Newman, where he's like, the mail never stops. And then there's Mother's Day. And it's Easter. He's going through all the holidays. And at Christmas. Oh, man. Carl Alexander, let's see. Matt, what's up? What do you think Jay Ward draft grade could look like after the bowl game? He's similar to Flott with the versatility. Yeah, I think his ceiling is a day 2 pick, if not early day 3. Because Ward can play nickel, he can play on the outside, and he can play safety. He is a versatile guy. And when you look at just basically every base package in the NFL is nickel. You're playing 5 DBs. When he can play every position, it makes him more valuable. Look at Bradley Roby, right, for the Saints. I mean, he's played all over that secondary already. P.J. Williams is another guy. P.J. Williams was a 5th-round pick, but he's played everywhere in that secondary. I mean, his best spot is in the dime package as a dime back, but he's played nickel, he's played outside, he's played safety. He's a valuable player. Yeah, but I would think I would hope Jay Ward would be a day 2 pick. I'd hope he could go somewhere in those top 100 picks, be a round 2 or 3 guy. Rapping Batches, what's up? Let's see, do you think we could see multiple quarterbacks playing the bowl game? Yeah, I mean, the only way I think that happens is if you're up big and you have an opportunity to empty the bench. Eric Waller or an injury, right? But I don't think they're going to put that in the scheme to play multiple quarterbacks in the game. Eric Water out of Mortimer, since player incentives bonuses that they achieve hit our salary cap in the following season, I wonder if we have essentially benched Jameis to save cap space. No, Eric, look, it's a heady question, but no, they're ultimately, if Jameis is on the roster next year, he's gonna be owed $12.4 million cash or $12.8 million cash. And they're just not going to pay him that, so they're going to cut him, and they'll save $4 million. They're going to have a big dead cap number, but they're still going to have to but they'll save $4.4 million against the cap. So here you go, Jameis next year, if he's on the roster next year, he'd be owed $12.8 million cash. So, but his cap hit would be 15.6. His dead cap number is 11.2. So if he's on the roster, you pay him $12.8 million cash, and he counts 15.6 against the cap. If you cut him, you don't pay him the 12.8, and you save 4.4 million against the cap. So they're going to cut him. I mean, it's not about incentives or anything like that. They've made their decision that he's not going to be on the roster next year. Reed Rule, good morning, Scone. Snow forecasted in Cleveland for the Saints game, so hopefully a lot of run plays take some time. Yeah, not a bad thought there. It's just so obvious. Like whenever Taysom touches the ball more, the Saints have success. I mean, go look at Taysom Hill's game log this year. Let's do that real quick. And look at their wins, and look at Taysom's touches in the wins relative to the losses. So week 1 against Atlanta, you won that game. 4 rushes for 81 yards and a touchdown. He was 1-1 throwing for 2 yards. You lose to Tampa, 3 carries for 14 yards. You lose to Minnesota, 5 for 21. You beat Seattle, 9 rushes, 112 yards, 3 touchdowns. You lose to Cincinnati, 5 for 39. You lose to Arizona, 3 for 9 yards. You beat the Raiders, 10 carries, 61 yards, 1 of 2 passing for 11 yards. You lose to Baltimore, 1 carry, 6 yards. You lose to Pittsburgh, 3 carries, 1 yard. You beat the Rams, 9 carries, 52 yards, 1 of 1 passing for 8 yards. You lose to the Niners, 6 for 13. You lose to Tampa, 3 for 10. You beat the Falcons, 7 for 30. And then, of course, the touchdown pass as well. Anyway. Yes, get Taysom Hill involved. He'll never be a franchise quarterback, but get him the ball. Chuck Sanchez, what's up, Chuck? Get it? Up, Chuck? Lowell Cormier. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I think I missed those. My bad. Robbie Welburn. Oh, sorry, I did that one already. Truax, what's good, man? Stephen Miller, thanks for the clarification. Good heads up mentioning the BK show. Had to get my table reserved. Yes, so the last Brian Kelly show of the year is Wednesday at TJ Rib, so tomorrow. So anyone that wants to check it out, that's also going to be like the last opportunity we have to hear from Brian Kelly before the bowl game. So, okay, hang on one second, y'all. My dad's here. My dad and my mom are driving to Kansas. And to go see my sister and her family for Christmas. They're bringing presents from us for their kiddos. So they just pulled in the driveway. So I need to go run and give them this back real quick. So give me, you know what? I'll give you a 30-second interlude here with the HUDCO jingle, but it'll probably be longer than that. I'll be right back.
When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone and Terrio.
All you need is HUDCO.
Call HUDCO Roofing.
364
1007.
Okay. I wonder how many of you hung on. 87 on YouTube. Okay. 35 on Facebook. Respect, everybody. Thank you. All right, let's see. Andrew McKinney, Patrick Burglass, Craig Dugas, not going to lie, thoroughly enjoying Mulkymania. You know, Craig, I'll tell you honestly, every time you type that, I, in my head, process Malikaliki Maka, and I think you misspell it, but I say it's Mulkymania. They're fun to watch. When locked in, look dominant. I want to say the same for Madman McMahon, but could be a brutal SEC stretch where the only strongest fans survive. Yes. Yes. John Foray, who's our best LSU sources next to Matt, of course. I'm not a breaking news guy. There's some stuff I know. I try to stay very much in the know, but you know, trust who you trust. Todd Harris, do you expect most of the high school recruits will sign tomorrow? Don't know. I don't know which ones are planning on signing tomorrow and which ones are waiting till February. I would assume they sign tomorrow. There's no reason not to. if you're going to be part of the class. Samuel Merrifield, who do you think would be the best spot? What do you think would be the best spot for Peyton, which would possibly be open? I mean, look, it's one of the LA teams, right? And the Rams lost last night. They've officially been eliminated from the playoffs. And I'm not saying McVay would be fired, but McVay took a long, hard look at TV last year. And I think it's pretty well known that he's going to want some time off and, from coaching, do TV, and then probably jump back in at some point. So the Rams, maybe. Mark Vitanovich, what's going on? Wrap your pipes. It's going to snow near Tiger Stadium. I didn't think it was supposed to snow. I thought it was just going to be cold. I thought the snow is no longer in the forecast. But yeah, I mean, 10% in the teens. Oof. Anthony Gugliel's, morning, Matt. Happy holidays to you and your family. On my way to Fort Myers to spend Christmas with the family. Sad how the Pels have totally taken a dive after winning 7 straight. Hey, man, look, that's the nature of the NBA when you play 82. But look, bro, I'm an OG. I'm rocking a New Orleans Hornets shirt today, okay? Like, it's the nature of playing 82. Like in baseball, when you play 162, you're going to have streaks. It's just the nature of how this goes. So, yeah, you won 7 in a row. Now you lost 4 in a row. That's why over 82, there's a large enough sample that you are what your record says you are. So they'll get back on track. And look, they got a winnable stretch coming up. Like we did this yesterday in AFR. Go look at their schedule, what's coming up, all right? So after last night, now you've got San Antonio at home. You're at OKC. You're home against the Pacers, home against the T-Wolves, home against the Sixers, at Memphis, at Philly, home against Houston, who's brutal, home against Brooklyn, winnable, at Dallas, at Washington, at Boston, at Detroit, at Cleveland. So tough road trips there. But my point is, you could look at the schedule and go, man, Phoenix, Utah, Phoenix, Milwaukee, like that's a brutal stretch, But it lightens up considerably after this. So they'll get back on track. Spurge, what's good? Edward O got the crabs. Morning, what's good? Seems like we aren't being very successful in the portal. Reason a lot of players haven't declared yet. Like a lot of them will announce on signing day. So, and remember, I want to remind you, like portal. A couple things. Number one, LSU's not taking as many portal guys this year as they did a year ago. Last year they took 19. This year, probably 5, 6. Like, you're just not going to see as many players out of portal. That's one. 2, remember, like, you don't have to take a player just to take him. And there's a portal window after spring. So after spring football, you're going to see another wave of players go into the portal. I always remind you, like, Joe Burrow came to LSU after spring football. So it's not urgent, like, to get players right now. It's a long process. I mean, you have until this portal window is open to the end of January. So you may see after the bowl game, more guys hit the portal. It may not be till after spring. So play the long game, understanding you don't have to take players just to take them. Take players at positions of need that you like that are going to benefit your team. Spurge, head to Lafayette today. Spend Christmas with the fam and friends. All right, Spurge, safe travels today, man. Brian Irwin, good morning. Finals today. Wish me good luck. All right, Brian, good luck today, man. Do well. Jeff, what's good? Let's see. There's only one player since the merger to have a career with 10 pass, 10 rush, 10 receiving touchdowns. That player, Taysom Hill. He is a unicorn, man. I would have thought for sure Cordell Stewart would have done that. You sure about that, Jeff? Check Cordell Stewart. 10 pass, 10 rush, 10 receiving. Cordell Stewart has to have done that in his career. Hold on. I'm fact checking you right now, Jeff. You know you're my guy, but I got to fact check you on this one. All right. Cordell Stewart threw for 77 touchdowns. He ran for 38 touchdowns and caught 5 touchdowns. Okay. It checks out. How about that? I would have thought for sure Slash would have done that. Good stat. Lucy B, good morning. Trivia Carter, what up, E-Rock? Yes, she's there. Matt, let's see. Trey Guy, good morning. Do you have an update on Denver Harris? Is there a jingle that goes with that hat? I did just play the jingle, so yes. No update on Denver Harris, man. Weston Weaver, good morning. ESPN released top 32 of the CFP teams. Yeah, I saw it. Who cares? I mean, whatever. Like, I think it was one guy. I think Bill Barnwell did it, and he had LSU. It's just stupid. Like, okay, you're doing it. Sometimes, like, you'll do something different just for attention. That's all that was. Cliff Nelson, kind of confused. Isn't Perkins the jack behind BJ? So no. Well, yes and no, Cliff. So Harold Perkins is not going to play jack. He's going to play inside. Like, he's going to be your Mike. That was an obvious, but you weren't going to take Baskerville off the field. And then they were playing him at jack, obviously, because he could rush the passer exceptionally well. But you had the issue of when you put him on the field, you had to take Ojulari off. And when they were putting them both on the field, the adjustment offenses made was they were shifting and motioning to get Perkins out of the box. But over the course of his career, he's not going to be a jack linebacker. He's going to be an inside linebacker for sure. I mean, he's going to be Devin White. And look, with Baskerville done, next year, Penn and Perkins are going to be your two starting inside backers. Let's see. Russell Doloff, good morning. Bailey C, I didn't know Jamarcus Russell was from Alabama. Yes, from Mobile. Cody Brunet, if Daniels is still nursing an injury, why not play Nuss or Walker? Because he's healthy. Brian Kelly said on Saturday. Said if they had to play, he'd play. And you still got 2 weeks from the game. So, Matt Plavidal, good morning. Eric Wilderrider, I thought the best deal in the world is a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Yes, totally is. Especially when it comes from Hudco Roofing. HudcoRoofing.com. By the way, all that rain yesterday, phones, web submissions blew up. So, let us know. Love to give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Click the link that's pinned in the chat, Hudco Roofing. Let's see, Matt. I have been warned, don't go postal like Newman and bring home mail. Gregory Gordy, what's up? Tracy Poole, is my buddy Drew ready for Santa? Yeah, Tracy, we're getting ready here in the Scone household. So, let's see. The Pirate. Crystal ball for Isaiah Smith is LSU, but I see you're all wrong. You end up at MSU. That's the safety? Did he commit? I don't even know. Let's see. Gregory Gordy. Cliff Nelson. Am I the only one that hopes Chuck Sanchez logs on every day? Nah, man, you're not. And honestly, Cliff, so like we owe a sincere debt of gratitude to Chuck Sanchez. So Chuck Sanchez, who is a longtime Morning Scone OGer, his wife is Jessica Sanchez, who's awesome, and works in marketing at Brock. So the way that Brock got connected with Morning Scone is through Chuck Sanchez, who told his wife, Jessica, hey, you need to sponsor this thing. How about that? Connect the dots. Von Bluesman, good morning, Matt. And everyone, go Tigers. Nicholas Cantrell, Chad Vignair, had my first session with Crystal Poche yesterday. Same age and back problems. Never had treatment like that before. Already see relief. There you go, man. Awesome. It keeps getting better, too. Keith H., good morning. Brooke Bordeaux, good morning. Let's see. Any more? Jump back over here to Facebook. David Tolson, what is a known most lucrative NIL deal for collegiate football player, LSU or non-LSU player? So those don't have to be disclosed, right? But Quinn Ewers was said to get 7 figures to go to Ohio State, was there for 1 year, and then went to Texas. So he's played the system pretty beautifully. Bryce Young has done north of $1 million in NIL deals. Good for him. I don't think there's anybody at LSU close, unless you consider Livy Dunn, obviously, who's done a couple $1 million in deals. I mean, unless you're counting Livy Dunn, who I think has probably done the most of any collegiate athlete. Mark, how did Taysom Hill throw a 68-yard pass? I thought he wasn't a quarterback. Because he's a human being that can throw a football to a wide open receiver who then caught it and ran. Taysom Hill didn't throw the ball 68 yards in the air, Mark. And again, like we've been over many times, and I don't know why you continue to hammer this, because you're the only human who does. Literally everyone has acknowledged the fact that Taysom Hill is never going to be a franchise quarterback just because you can throw a football in a vacuum. Like, receivers sometimes throw passes. Running backs sometimes throw passes that go for touchdowns. Like, congratulations. He's the greatest gimmick player in the NFL today. And they should use him. He's a very talented athlete. I'm telling you, they should use him. But if you think that guy is ever going to be a franchise quarterback, well, you know what, Mark, I don't even need to have this conversation with you anymore. Like, I'm just going to let everybody else laugh at you, because you do this all the time. It's so stupid. Let's see. Oh, Anthony. You know, it's like some people are just programmed a certain way. Like, there's positive people and there's negative people in the world, and there's people who see a situation and, it's like the glass half full, glass half empty. Our guy Anthony is the quintessential glass half empty guy. Now, I could never live my life that way, and that's just him, and that's cool. Seems like a super nice guy, but I could never live my life this way. So here's his comment on the Pels. They are overrated. Don't see how they can be taken serious. They are frauds. We'll be a play-in team again. Okay, Anthony, let's make a wager, you and me. You set the terms, whatever you want. I will bet the Pelicans will be in the playoffs, not a play-in team. They will be in the playoffs this year. You say they're going to be a play-in team. You name the terms, okay? Name the terms, because one thing that annoys me in the job I do, I'm not saying you annoy me, I'm saying one of the things that annoys me is when people, namely fans, whatever, make these like brazen predictions like that with zero accountability. And that's one of the things the internet's done. It's given everybody a voice. So you get to go on here and say they'll only be a play-in team, and like they're frauds, and you're not in any way held accountable. So I want to hold you accountable to that. Just like I'm held accountable every single day when I go on the air and I make a prediction. Sometimes I'm right and sometimes I'm wrong. So you name the terms, okay? I'm telling you that the Pels will not be a play-in team. They will be in the field after the regular season. So you name the terms, and we'll make that bet. We'll hold you accountable for your comment that they're frauds, they can't be taken seriously, and that they're going to be a play-in team. Jacob Willis, what's up? Sheldon Mark Fleming, why didn't Aaron Anderson get on the field at all this year? He was injured. Dealt with an injury, and then kind of had, was playing catch-up. He only played one game, played against Austin Peay. Is that an old school Hornet shirt? It is. Hang on, Drew's backpack's beeping. I'll be right back. Okay. Mark, Taysom Hill's a special player the Saints have wasted in the last 5 years. Mark, the Saints are the only team that Taysom Hill was a garbage, undrafted quarterback out of BYU who got cut by the Packers. The Saints looked at his skill set and turned him into a gadget guy and made him $30 million. If you say they wasted him, you're stupid. That's the stupidest comment you've ever made. You've made a lot of stupid comments here, Mark. That's the stupidest one ever. The Saints gave him a career and have made him a millionaire many times over because they identified the thing that he does well, and he was at least willing to do it instead of chasing the quarterback dream. Oh, my God. Chris Keller, good morning. Isn't today early signing day? No, tomorrow. Oh, my God. I can't deal with Mark anymore. I'm done with Mark's comments, at least for today. I'll look at your comments again tomorrow, Mark. Trey Guy, good morning. I destroyed the like button. Your favorite five head. Morning from LA, Scone. Still celebrating Dante Moore flip. Hopefully the game in a few years in Death Valley is more interesting. Go Tigers and Bruins. So Dante Moore, 5-star quarterback from Detroit, had been committed to Oregon. Bo Nix decided he's coming back to Oregon for another year, so Dante Moore flips from Oregon to UCLA, which means in 2024, when UCLA comes to Tiger Stadium, Dante Moore is very likely the quarterback of the Bruins. Paris Scott, how does the Saints get the first-round pick back from the Eagles? They don't. They don't. It's not like the NBA where it's like a top 10 protected pick. I mean, no, that pick is gone, brother. Or sister. I can't tell. Paris. I just assumed. I can't tell. The thumbnail's too small on here. Anyway, so Paris, no. You don't get that pick back. The hope is if Sean Payton coaches again somewhere next year, the Saints still have his rights for 2 years. So the hope is if Payton goes and coaches somewhere, in order for the Saints to, the Saints would ultimately trade Sean Payton's rights to that team, whoever he would go coach, and so that team would give the Saints draft compensation. Our hope is there's like a bidding war for Payton, and the Saints end up with a first-round pick somewhere. Gregory Gordy, full or empty? I'm just glad I have a glass. Paris, can the Saints win some games and not be top 5 pick? Yeah, okay. Then I misunderstood if that was your question. Right. So the Saints are not getting that pick back from the Eagles. The Eagles own that pick. Wherever the Saints finish in the standings is the corresponding spot of that pick, and that's where the Eagles will select. So I think right now, right? I mean, you look at reverse order of finish, right? So if you look at the NFL standings right now, so as it stands today, it would go Texans, Bears, Rams, Broncos, Cardinals, Colts, Falcons, Saints. So the Saints would be 8th right now. Panthers, Steelers, Browns, Raiders, Jags. Anyway, so as of after their win, as of today, the Saints would be picking 8th if the draft were held today. And the Saints would be that. The pick would be the 8th pick, and the Eagles would have the pick, obviously. Do you think Anthony will actually pay up, or will it be Dwayne from Thibodeau? No, I think Anthony would pay up. Yeah, Anthony would pay up. Guy Brooks, good morning, Matt. Happy holidays to you and your family. To you as well, Guy. Brandon Avery, how about Zach Tom last night for the Packers? Bears. That's Calici, Zach Tom. Yep, great to see. Who I believe went to Southern Miss. So Mark should be very excited about that. Now, Mark and I do agree on this. The Pelicans will be a 4 or 5 seed in the West. I do agree with you on that, Mark. You and I are in lockstep there. I think basically you're asking, the deal with Anthony is, do you think the Pelicans will end up being a top 6 seed in the West? Because remember, 7 through 10 are basically the play-in. I do believe the Pelicans will be in the top 6. You're going to see a lot of movement between now and May. It's just the nature of the NBA. But I do believe they're one of the 6 best teams in the Western Conference and will end up there. Okay. We're done. Merry Christmas to you as well, Mark. Please stop with your absurd Taysom Hill takes. You're on, like, of all the lonely islands to die on by yourself, don't die on the Taysom Hill as a quarterback island. Like, don't plant your flag there. You can acknowledge Taysom Hill is a great team guy, a good athlete, fun to watch, but the entire world, Mark, has told you Taysom Hill is not going to be, like, trust the people who do football professionally for life, who've all, like, 32 NFL teams have told you he's not a quarterback. Mark, I bought a Taysom Hill jersey in 2017. I'm invested. Mark, and that's great, man. That's great. That's really great. Wear your Taysom Hill jersey with pride. He's a great player. He's fun to watch. He's a one of a kind in a literal sense. The stat Jeff shared with us. Only player since the merger to have 10 touchdowns passing, receiving, and rushing. That's awesome. Great player. I love that Taysom Hill's on my team. He helps you win games. He's just never going to be a starting quarterback. It's like literally never going to happen. Okay. I think we're done. Zach Tom went to Wake Forest. Cam Tom. Cam Tom went to Southern Miss. All right, last one. Paris Scott, dang, Saints really need that pick. Why did the Saints ever pick a quarterback in high rounds? Yeah, the only quarterback the Saints have ever taken in the first round in franchise history, Archie Manning. Only one in franchise history. Yeah, I think you have to be Paris in a position to draft a quarterback in round 1 when you need a quarterback. And there has to be a quarterback on the board that you like with that equivalent spot. This would definitely be the year they do it, but they don't have that pick. So I think they will use their second round pick, though, on a quarterback. All right, y'all. I think we're just about done here. Y'all have an awesome day. Thanks for watching, especially Mark. I hope Mark has the best day. And Anthony. I hope Anthony has an awesome day. He has not replied yet, though, about my wager. We'll see if he does. Okay, smash that like button if you would, YouTube. Subscribe up to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. LSU Daily is already live, so if you've not done so yet on your favorite podcast app, please go search LSU Daily and subscribe. And AFR3. Deuces.